Tony Gwynn Jr.
I was outside the room and I saw Adam come sprinting in. I was like, what happened? Hot mic. That's all I heard.
Chris Ello.
Dak Prescott caught speaking of things that are off.
And Matt Skraby.
Sam must be a liker of his job.
Don't blame us for any side effects.
You thrilled our fans throughout the postseason with a great performance.
Gwynn and Chris are ready to go.
I go away for a week. What happens? Everything seems to fall out of line all of a sudden. Welcome back into Gwynn and Chris here, everybody. Chris Ello, Matt Skraby, together in our Odyssey Palace studios in San Diego. Tony Gwynn Jr. had the ball game today. I was gone for 9 days. Seemed like about 49 days. And yeah, it seemed like it's been a lot. It was like forever ago to me that they went to Toronto and got swept, and after being swept by Seattle and 6-game losing streak, I felt like I needed to get back and like help save the day. But
Which day did you leave again?
there was no return inside. I left, I think it was last Wednesday. So I've been gone for an entire week, and I missed a lot of poor baseball, really. And I didn't miss today though. I didn't miss the poor baseball today. Padres fall to the Miami Marlins. 10-8 was the final. I guess if you want to look at it in one way, you can say this. Sometimes baseball works in the sense that you win a game that you have no business winning. That would be yesterday.
Yes.
And then you follow it up by losing a game you have no business losing.
Yeah.
And that would be today. I won't say that water finds its level because I gave up on that saying
Thank you.
several years ago.
Thank you.
But that's one way to make yourself try to feel a little bit better about today. I mean, the game they won yesterday, it was only the second time in Padre history that they were down 6-0 in the first inning and came back to win. Only the second time ever. The team's been around for 55 years.
That is crazy.
And that's happened twice. The last starting pitcher to give up 6 earned runs in the top of the first inning and still get the win was 1999 before last night. And
That's
then
crazy.
Kolek got the win. So that was a game you shouldn't win. Today is a game you shouldn't lose. I don't want to even hear any excuses, losing today's game. It was lousy pitching. It was not great fielding. It was poor decision-making on the bases again.
Mm.
It was not the world's best at bats, especially I'm going to say in the last couple innings once they got behind. I'll get into it further. And it was by far one of the poorest managed games of the year.
Interesting.
So you have all of that. Well, look, it wasn't managed poorly. That's not fair. Everything that the manager tried today failed.
Yeah.
So it looks like he didn't do a very good job. He did what he usually does, but I thought there was a couple of things that were clearly second guessable, and we'll talk about those.
And
as
our
we go
notes on the
along.
scorecard?
Yeah, we got notes on the scorecard a little later, and we'll get through all of it. But, this is a game you shouldn't lose. You're up 6-1 on a terrible team, the Marlins, who can't hit in general. And, you cough that up. You cough it up once, then you get the lead back. You cough it up again. Those aren't games you can't, you don't want to lose.
Yeah.
If you're gonna beat the Dodgers and win the division. Now, if you want to ease your way into the playoffs, you can sit back and say, well, we got 2 out of 3. It's another series win. But if you want to beat the Dodgers, then you can't blow that game. Especially on a day when the Dodgers blew their game.
Yeah, they have to be able to keep.
Yes.
They have to be able to win when the Dodgers lose.
This was a chance. You could have got within one game, but you didn't do it. So look, you pack it up and you get a day off, and you welcome in the Paul Skeens-less Pirates over the weekend.
We've already talked about it, Chris.
It's unbelievable that they are facing the Pirates for the 4th series in 2 years And Paul Skeens has dodged us every single time.
Ducked us.
I think he wants no part of us.
Well,
he wants no part of that head-to-head duel with Jackson Merrill.
I will say that now is not the best time for Jackson to be facing Paul Skeens.
Well, Jackson has not been great.
He's hanging in there,
but it sounded like, looked like he's coming out of it. Got the home run last night, had a double today, stretched it into a, third base on the air. So maybe Jackson's, climbing out of it. This is not a worrisome thing to me.
No.
This is a normal thing.
Yes.
The only thing about Jackson Merrill is that he hasn't been normal. So he hasn't gone through anything quite like this. But yeah, hopefully he'll get back out of it. But yeah, this is not a great look today. And I don't know if you heard that sound, Skraby. Listen for it. I think I hear it off in the distance right now. That is not the train coming to put the lights out on the Padres season. That is the buzzer signaling the end of the first period.
Oh, because okay.
Today is the exact 1/3 mark of the 2025 season. This is game 54. You have 2 more 54s left.
Okay, so they've won 31
They've won
games?
31 games. I got to tell you.
So that's 90.
Yeah, that's 93. That's not what I was thinking a week and a half ago.
No.
They were on pace for a hundo. And a hundo's a lot. But we sat there in a Padre roundtable 2 weeks ago, because I don't think there was a Padre roundtable last week.
There was not.
And we got another one tomorrow. But we sat there 2 weeks ago, and Ben Higgins went around the room, and he asked everybody how many games they're going to win based on where they were at that time. And I think we all assumed 100 was kind of almost a low watermark.
I thought I said 93.
You might have said, you might have been, in the running.
Well,
but,
Woodsy said 69.
Well, Woods said 69 because he's a doom and gloomer. But yeah, we were all going, 100 is possible. And then we all said, 98's the team record. They got to break that this year. Well, they're now, thanks to this stretch, it's not been a good stretch. They're 4-8 last 12 games since we did that roundtable. So they've gone from being on 100 pace to 93. Let's be honest, 93 is not going to beat the Dodgers for the division.
No.
93 will probably get you to the postseason, but 93 is not going to beat the Dodgers. So, with everything that's gone well, the first 2 months of the season, the first period, the first third of the season, I think to come out at the end and be 31-23 almost seems like a bit of a downer. I got to tell you.
I disagree.
You do. You would have taken. Let me say it this way. Before the season, if I said 31-23, you'd have said, good. That's 93
for
pace.
The first third of the season, right. I would have taken that in a heartbeat.
You would have taken it, but the way this season started, the way they were going, the way they were winning consistently and pitching lights out.
Tony and I briefly talked about this the other day.
I wonder if 31-23 feels a little like a disappointment. You say no.
I think some people feel disappointed because they started 14-3. Here's the question yesterday, Chris, in Padres Pen Pals.
Okay.
Which team is this current team closer to? The 14-3 start or the 14-18 as of yesterday since?
Yeah, I got actually 14-3. Your math is so good. I should never trust you to do math.
No, this was yesterday. I
know, but I'm still gonna change your numbers. 14-3 was where they started.
That's what I'm saying.
Since then, they are 17-20.
Okay, I was doing it off the top of my head. Hold on.
You're nowhere close.
I'm going back to 5/27, which was yesterday.
Yeah,
and I'm going to get the exact question.
As of yesterday, they were 17-19. As of today, they're now 17-20. Since they started 14-3.
Here it is. Before yesterday's game.
Okay.
So we are not counting these two games.
What you got?
The team started 14-3 and then 16-19 since.
Yes, but you said 14-18. You were off.
Okay, I said 14. Okay,
never
just
mind.
Answer the question.
The bottom line is, which are they closer to? I hope they're closer to the 14-3 team. I think they are, but they're not the 14-3 team. Is that a fair way to answer that?
Yeah, Tony and I both said they're somewhere in the middle.
Well, of course they're somewhere in the middle, but I mean,
But that's the true team that they are.
I think that they are when they're healthy. You got Michael King out. He would have pitched today. You think he would have held a 6-1 lead at home? Feel like he would have. You still have had Darvish out. You're still using minor leaguers mostly in left field. And I hate to say that about Gavin Sheets now that he's in left field.
He's getting better. He's getting a
hitting
lot better.
crazy, but he's only there to hold down the spot until you can get a real left fielder.
Yes.
So, and we've talked about all the other issues, but I don't think they're a 17-20 team either. And that's a pretty good sample size. That's 37 games, and they've been 3 games under 500. So that's cause to say, don't feel great.
Okay, what record would make you feel good?
I felt like when they were on pace to win 100 2 weeks ago, to be at 93 seems disappointing. And so I thought 32 and, the win today would have given them a pace of 96. It's one game, but it sounds a lot better.
Baseball is just one of those games where it's
you can't overreact to one loss. You can't overreact to one win, but you can be disappointed when the team plays 4-8 against, a medium schedule.
Yes, I agree with that. And today, you could be extremely disappointed by today because they gave that game away.
No, when we go through the notes on a scorecard, you're going to be like, oh man,
here's one
not
thing
good.
I would have taken before the season as well. If you were to say 1/3 through the season,
right,
the Padres are going to be 2 games behind the Dodgers in the National League West, I would have said, sign me up.
Cannot disagree with that. I hate for once, you're right.
Wait, hold on. Let me get this going.
Skraby's point is really good. Yeah. Well,
thank you.
Look, Skraby's points often are good as long as they don't include math issues.
That's true, but I just did. Well, I was looking at the website, so.
All right, we'll take our first break. We're going to have notes on a scorecard in a little bit. We're going to take you through. We're going to drag you through the muck and mire that was this game today. Some other stuff going on. We'll catch you up on that. Good news for San Diego State's basketball team.
Yes.
Just came in a little bit ago. We'll pass that along to you. Gwynn and Chris underway. And I forgot to mention in the first segment, you're in luck here. All of you out there. Although maybe some of you say, enough's enough of you, Chris. There is an extra hour of the program today.
Oh.
Yeah. So the people that say enough's enough, sorry, you're going to have to put up with me for an extra hour. Skraby will be here, and we'll kind of combine the Chronicles with Gwynn and Chris from 6 to 7 tonight.
Yeah, I talked to Adam, and we both think it makes sense to just go Gwynn and Chris, but put a little Skraby spin.
There will be a little Skraby spice involved.
I mean, we'll get to it at the end of the show, but there's a big old schedule change happening here at the station
just for
the
next 10 days. Yeah. I know Braden's off. His mom, I believe, is celebrating a milestone birthday.
Oh, really?
Yes, and they're going out to a big trip overseas.
Yes, they are. Yeah,
to celebrate that. So you will be moving off of the Gwynn and Chris show for a while. And, I hope it goes well. We may forget about you while you're gone.
It's fine with
me.
Will
we still want you back when the time is over?
If I'm being honest.
You don't care.
No. If I'm being honest, I'm more curious to see how little I actually matter to the show.
Oh, get out of here. You matter a lot.
Because it's going to be at the end, everything's going to be fine. Everybody's going to get in the routine.
No.
I do have to say, if we're going to say happy birthday to Braden's mom, I would like to say happy birthday to my mom. It is her birthday today.
Oh.
Yes. She was in the hospital after having me way back when.
Oh.
And so she spent her 22nd or 23rd birthday in the hospital.
Many decades ago.
Yes, 1985 that was.
Because your birthday is very close to your mom's.
Yes.
Happy birthday to you. You just passed yours a few days ago.
Your wife was
Happy
yesterday.
birthday to Lori. My wife was yesterday. Everybody's having birthdays.
How do I know your wife's birthday, but I don't know anyone else's birthday?
Yeah. You know what? Fortunately, I know her birthday as well. Because otherwise, I don't think I would have made it this long. Anyway, happy birthday. Everybody's having their birthdays out there. All right. So we're here till 7. Couple of quick things. I mentioned good news for the Aztecs basketball. It's really good news. Miles Byrd is coming back. He announced that he has withdrawn his name from the NBA draft. Says, quote, I have unfinished business. Back at San Diego State. Mark Ziegler had the story just a little while ago.
If anybody could see my shifty eyes.
What does that mean?
Means he knew he wasn't going to get drafted.
I don't know. I think he would have been drafted in the second round. I think
you really think so?
Yeah, I think he feels he can improve his position by coming back.
I'm all for
Number
it.
1, number 2. I don't know what the Aztecs are paying, but NIL is just as lucrative as probably money you're making as a second round pick. And why not maybe increase your visibility?
I totally get why he did it.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a no-brainer for me.
This would not have been the case before NIL. Okay? Before the NIL, Bird would have been gone. He would have taken some money and gone to the NBA and started his career and seen where that took him. But he can now make a bunch of money to play here for the next year.
I'm happy he's here. I'm happy he's back.
But I'm just saying.
And Magoon Guath is back. This team is going to look great.
And Reese Waters is back from injury, we assume.
Yeah.
And then you added all these other guys and the 5-star recruit they got out of high school.
Yep.
So anyway,
they got a lot going on down there.
Good for them. Good for Dutch.
Yes.
All right, here's a couple more things I just want to try to put in perspective, and then we'll get to the notes on a scorecard in the next segment and tear things down because today was not good. Right? I didn't enjoy it. You didn't enjoy it. No. There's no fan who could have liked today. And I think there's a lot of people that are going to take blame in this game that you might not be thinking of. Not going to blame Gavin Sheets, though. I'm not going that crazy. Gavin Sheets is the man.
He is, and we had him on for Friday, and ever since then, he's been hitting home run after home run.
No kidding. How many games did he go last week? 4 in a row or something?
He hit 2 against the Blue Jays on that Thursday,
right.
And then he hit one against Chris Sale, and then he hit 1 on Sunday.
The one against Chris Sale's the one because that's lefty on lefty, where everybody says he can't hit lefty.
Yeah, he hit it.
Hey, Chris Sale, you're not going to get a lot better lefty than that.
Oh, he hit it.
Sheets has got the confidence right now for sure. But we'll get into notes on a scorecard. But here's what I want to try to put in perspective. And then you think of this however you want to think of it out there. Because, as you said, Skraby, the Padres are somewhere in between the 14-3 team that started the season and the 17-20 that has happened since. Because 17-20 is not good, not a playoff season at all. But we know they're in between somewhere.
Yes.
For those who think they're closer to the 17-20, and we're getting enough.
And there's many.
Yes, we're getting enough tweets and DMs and people complaining and this, that, and the other to understand there's a lot of you who think they're closer to the 17-20. I just want to point this out, and then you go with it from where you want to. Dodgers, last 23 games, including their loss today, blew the big lead. Bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
Tanner Scott, 5th blown save.
Yeah, he's been bad this year.
ERA 4.62, gave up 4 runs today to lose the game.
Wow.
All right, so Tanner Scott, I'm just saying, but with that loss, Dodgers 11-12, their last 23 games. Giants, much longer, last 43 games. Giants are 21-22. Padres, as we said, are in a 17-20. All 3 of those teams, we assume, are the best teams in the National League. The Diamondbacks, by the way, are currently 2 games below 500.
Yeah.
After they lost today. So I'm not even thinking about them at the moment. I know a lot of you are, going to be worried about them. Zach Gallen all of a sudden can't get anyone out.
Yeah, he
got bombed
fallen
again
off
today.
Yes, he did.
They lost 10-1, and he got lit up again. What's happened to him? Ask Sandy Alcantara. I don't know what's happened to either of those 2 guys. But the Diamondbacks aren't even a contender at the moment. But, yeah, Padres, Giants, Dodgers, they're all in a losing way over the last month or better. Philadelphia Phillies got the best record in the National League today. But remember, they started the season 13-13. Their first 26 games, they were nothing better than a 500 team. Pretty sure that the talk show guy there in Philadelphia, when they lost that last one, said, season's over. We're 5.5 past the Mets. They just swept us. We'll never catch them. And John Kruk said, shut up.
He said, with over 100 games to go, it's going to be tough.
We have no chance of catching them over the last 120 games. But so I'm giving you all of these numbers to keep it in perspective. It's not a good stretch at all. Doesn't sugarcoat it. Just goes to show baseball is similar like this. You go 500 for a month and a half, but the good teams rip off a 14-3, and they do it 2 or 3 times, and that's how they win a division or get into a playoff. Pretty normal.
Can I tell you my Skraby breakdown from last week in regards to that? Like, Padres were, as of last Friday, Padres were 2-8 in their last 10 games.
Right.
These teams made the playoffs, losing 8 of 10 games at some point during the year last year. Royals did it twice. The Orioles, Tigers, Mets, Phillies, Yankees. 2023, the Rangers lost 9 straight and won the World Series.
Right.
Diamondbacks lost 9 straight starting on August 1st, still went to the World Series. Marlins lost 9 in a row, were a wild card team. The Dodgers won 104 games in 2017, but they had a 10-game losing streak and they went to the World Series, meaning the sky is not falling when you lose the 8 of 10 or 6 in a row this early in the season.
Yeah, but when you blow a 6-1 lead to the lowly Marlins and lose 10-8 at home today, we are going to rip the team in the notes on a scorecard, and that is coming up next on Gwynn and Chris.
What's up, Sam?
7 o'clock. Padres fell to the Marlins today. 10-8. Yikes. A game they led 6-1. What happened to the greatest bullpen ever created? Not today. We will get into the notes on a scorecard in a moment. Want to remind everybody that this is the happy hour. Even though we're not too happy today, it's brought to you by GL Pools, the swimming pool experts trusted by thousands of San Diegans since 2006. Baseball season is in full swing. So is swim season. Call GL Pools and mention the word radio. Get yourself a free month of pool service. Highly recommend. For those who are wondering, I actually really was on a little vacation for the week. No, I did not sleep on my shoulder wrong.
Oh.
Couldn't come to work.
Oh.
I thought I'd just get that cheap shot out of the way.
You know, I did. Michael King and I share
King.
a birthday.
I love Michael King.
Me
but
too.
That one, I just wish they could have told us something different. You know, strained it, throwing, warming up.
No, that would be
Sleeping.
way worse.
No, it wouldn't.
Yes, I would much rather him wake up with a sore.
No, if he hurt himself, working out, it's better than rolling over on your shoulder wrong in bed.
In all seriousness, I have definitely woken up on my shoulder weird.
Okay,
and it has hurt for like a day and a half.
Yeah.
And I'm not even throwing
but
a
you're
baseball
not a
at
major
all.
league athlete. You're not a professional athlete.
Wouldn't you rather him err on the side of caution than go and try to fight through it and then
I don't
be
care.
out for the year?
No. I'm talking about, yes, he's got to sit out. He's hurt. But how he got hurt, I'd rather him have gotten hurt warming up, playing catch, doing something. Not
Spencer
sleeping.
Strider pulled his hamstring playing catch a couple weeks ago. Maybe a month ago.
We're talking about Michael King
now.
I know.
It does hurt, though. It does. And you know what?
And it really hurts when he should have been pitching today and with a 6-1 lead, and they would have won this game.
Yeah.
It also
these
things matter.
How many? Because I asked this yesterday as well. Like now that he's actually on the IL, which is retroactive, so it's not the full 15 days. It's the last time he pitched before he went on the IL.
Okay.
How many starts do you think he misses? I think
2.
Okay. You're
they said
optimistic.
He's going to miss 2.
All right, you're optimistic.
We'll see. 1-0 Carolina is on the board against Florida. Carolina must win, or the defending Stanley Cup champion Panthers go to the finals. They're up 3-1. Speaking of 1-0, Cubs over the Rockies, bottom of the second. I don't have time to laugh at the Rockies right now. Timberwolves will try to stay alive at OKC. That gets underway shortly.
Next time you go to Denver, can you please, I'm going to set up a guest spot on one of the Denver radio stations so that you can scold all of their fans for continuing to go to games.
It's incredible.
I brought it up yesterday.
It's incredible.
They've won 9 games this year, and they have the 10th highest paid attendance rate in Major League Baseball. How does that even compute?
The Cleveland Spiders, the Spideys of 1899.
The Spideys.
1899. We're going back 3 centuries ago. Not
3?
this century, not last century, but the century before.
Okay.
1899.
Right. Oh, yeah. That's a century's 100.
They lost 134 games. At the 1/3 mark this year, Rockies on pace for $135. It's just inconceivable.
It can't keep
that
going
could
this
happen.
bad.
It just can't. But it will. All right. We'll keep you up to date on Thunder and Wolves. I'm going to talk a little NBA in a bit, but right now, let's check traffic. And then Skraby says we have a new open for the
I promised.
Notes on a scorecard. So let's hear that.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Well, guys, we got a couple of good examples why folks should just learn to leave it to the pros when it comes to moving stuff. We've got a mattress reported in the fast lane, westbound 54 Briarwood Road, and a mattress in lanes, eastbound King Freeway, right before Spring Street. Collision on northbound 15 before the 8s over the right shoulder. Also a stall partially blocking the Palm Avenue off-ramp, south 5. And got this crash on the Siempre Viva off-ramp, eastbound 905. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
What did Chris like? What does Chris want to clean up? Observations written on a grocery list. Notes on a scorecard starts now.
Yeah, and here's my first mishap of the day.
I know.
I don't have the notes actually on the grocery list today because even though I wrote them there, I left them at home. Brilliant. Not the dumbest thing I've done this week, though.
I said, you have about 40 minutes until the show starts. You live so close.
I didn't want to. I kind of redid them. But not the dumbest thing I did this week. Dumbest thing I did this week was get home from Denver on Sunday night, land at, the old 9:30 Sunday night, 10 o'clock. You're kind of exhausted. You're tired thing. Carrying it over the shoulder duffel bag. Kind of been carrying it, carry-on luggage all day, dragging it through airports. We get out to the Uber island, my wife and I.
Oh, man, that place is
it's a bit of a
wasteland.
It's a bit of a battle. Yeah, you're kind of waiting for your Uber.
No, that's my Uber.
Yeah,
no,
right.
That's
You're
my
fighting,
Uber.
right. So I put it down. I was tired. I put the thing down on the ground. And like you just said, we saw the Uber and my wife's, oh, there he is. That kind of thing. Got to race over there through traffic, you know, cutting people off.
Even though it's your Uber, you have to make sure you get there first.
Yes, don't want somebody to take it. I got in the Uber, got all the way home, pulled the luggage out. Where's the duffel bag?
What?
Where's the duffel bag? I left it
in the back seat?
No, it wasn't.
Oh.
I left it at the airport on the ground there at the Uber.
Oh man.
Yeah. And just a little bit of advice out there. Don't leave a bag unattended at an airport.
Oh,
they don't like it. They don't like that. The harbor police get in on it. The airport authorities get in on it. You know, they want you to get a lawyer to try to get your bag out of the lost and found.
They put it. They send a robot over to like poke the bag.
You have to describe it to a T. I had to tell them what was in it. Luckily, I had Scott Miller's book. The book he wrote about the Skippers, which by the way, I've been enjoying it.
Okay,
so I highly recommend to everybody to get Scott Miller's book.
And you named that as something in your bag?
I said yes. There's a book in there, and I named it, and they said, "Okay, that's a match."
Wow.
Yeah, that was the thing that put me over the top, so I could get my bag back.
Scott Miller saving Chris's bag.
Saved the bag.
I got to ask though.
Thank you, Scott.
Was it scary that you were trying to get your bag back? Like, did you think that they were going to arrest you for something?
No. But you gotta admit you're a bozo. You know, I'm stupid. I left my bag out there, and everybody kind of like, yeah, well, it's long gone. I mean, the harbor police took it. Where'd he go? That way. What do you mean that way? So it was, it was a battle.
That is brutal.
And of course, that was the first thing I did when I got home was jump in the car and drive back to the airport to try to get there before anything, untoward happened.
I wouldn't even know where to go.
Well, you go where you left it. And
I guess
you just hope
right.
you hope that it's there, but it wasn't there.
Oh,
and then
man.
the wild goose chase ensued.
I'm glad you got your bag back, though.
I didn't get it back till the next day. Yeah, did not get it that night. So
I kind of am a little happy that there's so many hoops you have to jump through.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. You shouldn't be able to get it back easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. We learned something today about our processes.
Don't leave your bag there when you pick up the Uber. All right, here we go with the notes on a scorecard. Let's start with this. First thing I noticed today and looked for was the Miami Marlin lineup. Would the kid Simon be in there today?
Yes.
And he wasn't. And 3 errors last night. Honestly, he should have had 4. They took one away or changed it and made an error into a hit earlier in the game, or he would have had 4 errors. 2 of them on successive plays. He felt awful for him. A couple of things. A, class moves by everyone involved. Fernando, Manny, the rest, who got in touch with this young man and said, hey, it happens. Keep your head up.
I believe they texted him.
Yeah. A lot of people did. Luis Castillo, former Marlin infielder.
Wow.
Fernando said it straight up in his interview after the game. They're all stick together on a thing like this. It could happen to any ball player, but that was particularly bad.
It was.
Mark Grant shared a funny story today. Did you hear it?
I did not know.
And you're going to like it because we hate Bob Brenly.
Okay.
Bob Brenly was a catcher for the Giants when Mark Grant pitched there in the
Okay.
mid-'80s. But one day, Brenly had to play third base for some other whatever reason.
Oh, no.
And he made 4 errors in 1 inning at third base, Bob Brenly.
Okay.
So Simon is certainly not alone, but here's the rub. In that same game, bottom of the 9th, Bob Brenly came up and hit a walk-off homer.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, well then
Can you
there
believe
go.
that
There
all
you go.
happened?
That all of that.
Yeah, maybe
Hey.
they should have kept Simon in last night. He might have saved the day for the Marlins.
I don't know that he was in the mental headspace to be.
He didn't look like he was. No.
They were saying on the radio, Bob Scanlon was telling a story about how he was in the minor leagues, and this is like a very abridged version of the story.
Right.
But there was a pitcher who kept throwing over guys' heads. He could not find the control over anything. So after a few starts, still couldn't find the control, hit someone, walked off the field, and never pitched again because he just didn't feel like he could control his pitches.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. And, I got called out on Twitter last night because Simon was crying on the field. And I said after
There's
Roki
no crying
Sasaki.
in baseball.
Yeah. Number one, there's no crying for Roki Sasaki because he was the one who made a spectacle out of everything. Simon's just there playing baseball. Like he didn't ask for fame. He didn't ask for any of that. And he was crying because he played so bad that it was worth some tears, in my opinion. But I'm not going to take back what I said about Roki Sasaki because the situations are completely different.
Speaking of, the next thing I noticed today was Sandy Alcantara. Like, how is it possible that a guy can go from the 2022 Cy Young Award? It's only a couple of years ago. I remember him pitching one afternoon at Petco that year and embarrassing the Padres. Like, just they couldn't hit the ball past the mound. Now, you or I could get a hit off this guy.
Ugh.
He's 2-7. His ERA went up today now to 8.47. That's not easy to do when you start the game at 8.04.
Yeah, that is not
And
easy.
because the Marlins came back in the game, he avoided becoming the first Marlin ever to lose 8 consecutive starts. Does everybody still want this guy in a trade at the trade deadline?
I'll take a chance
Somebody
on him.
wants him, right? Are you going to
Get
go?
him with the Whisperer? Come on now. The Whisperer could fix anything.
You would think. All right. So you say yes. You say you would still, despite what he's doing. He can't get anyone out. He can't locate any pitches. He walks everybody. He walked 3 in 1 inning today in the 5-run inning.
He pitches for the Marlins.
Well, I don't care if you walk 3 guys in an inning and throw meatballs down the middle.
I know.
It doesn't matter who you're pitching for. You're going to get hit. He's not getting hit just because he pitches for the Marlins.
If he was to be traded before the year, the trade package would have been much bigger. But now, I mean, I think you could probably sneak in a pretty good package.
So you're saying you want him. Still. Interesting.
I'm willing to give him a shot for the right price.
All right. Early in the ballgame, Gavin Sheets got the Padres on the board.
Yes.
RBI. Later, he hit the 2-run homer. It just gets me thinking of how weird it all is. And it's also a chance for me to take a shot at Juan Soto. But Gavin Sheets is making $1.6 million. He was an afterthought to play outfield for the Padres this year. 11 homers, 34 RBIs. Remember, this is the 1/3 mark, so he's on pace now for over 100 RBIs.
Mm-hmm.
275, 833 OPS. Juan Soto, 0 for 4 today in the Mets' loss. Has 8 homers, 3 fewer. Has 25 RBIs, 9 fewer. Is hitting 224, 50 points lower. And a 745 OPS, which is always Soto's saving grace, that he gets walks and all of that. He's not even doing that well.
And
He's 100 points lower than Sheets in OPS. That just makes no sense. But I love it. And nonetheless, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, he's getting the treatment of New York media
Right,
because
he's
New York
getting
media
obliterated.
wrote an article the other day about all the times that he has not swung the bat this year at pitches he should have.
And he doesn't care that people are ripping him.
No, I think it's getting to him.
You either are a robot,
and he's not,
or it is getting to you a little.
It has to get.
It just has to. So I kind of like it. The Padres lost today despite going 4 for 5 with runners in scoring position. That might be one of the more annoying things of the day.
That is extremely annoying.
Yeah. 4 for 5. They don't ever go 4 for 5, first of all. And when they do, you expect them to win.
Nothing makes sense. The lockdown bullpen gives up a bunch of runs.
Yeah.
They go 4 for 5 with runners in scoring position, and they lose. So this wasn't good.
They had 3 RBI hits in the 5th inning alone, and Fernando got thrown out at the plate. And again, I like aggressive. I don't know how to keep explaining myself. And with 2 outs, I'll give it to you a little bit because it's a time to take a chance. But you don't take one when the third base coach puts both arms up and says, don't go. You just don't. That's not the time. And Fernando's superhuman, and he's made it a few other times. So I know that's what he was thinking.
Tim Leeper was very adamant about stopping.
I know. You got to button things down there. I know it's 6-1, but you took the bat out of Jackson Merrill's hands. He was up next.
Yeah.
And maybe he hits a 3-run homer, and now it's really over.
Yeah.
But I'm not overly critical of this. There's something later that I'm going to be more critical of that's even smaller.
Okay, let me talk about this then, because I've been on the train of Fernando can do whatever he wants.
Okay.
He can go and try to steal a base if he wants to. But in this circumstance, when your coach is telling you to stop, not like just going, maybe stop. When he's like, stop, you got to stop. Like, that was a wasted out right there. And it ends up, like you said, Jackson Merrill could have hit a 3-run home run, or they could have put on some more or put up some more runs in that inning. That was not a smart decision, and I will have to admit that.
Okay. Like I said, I've been madder at Fernando's base running than in this case. This wasn't a bad move by Mike Schilt. Mike Schilt. Yeah, it's been a while. I've been gone for a week. Who's the manager? Kyle Hart just couldn't get through the 5th. He wanted to get him through. And when you gave up the hit to the lefty, and then you give up another hit to a righty, and then you give up another hit, and now it's 6-3, you need a fresh arm there. And a righty was at bat. It was the right move to take him out. 1 out away from winning the game. Morgan comes in. That's a tough spot for a guy in his 2nd major league game. And Otto Lopez is not exactly, knocking on Babe Ruth's door, but a 3-run homer ties the game. It was the first of many moves that just didn't work today. And again, there's only one that I'm going to be a little critical of because I think it's fair to second guess. I would bring Jason Adam in with the runner at 3rd and 1 out. Because he's likely to get the strikeout and get you out of the inning, and you hold on to the lead. So they take Matsui out. They bring Jason Adam in. What are the odds that Jason Adam goes wild pitch, single, single, single? And they would have got more runs, but the one kid got thrown out at the plate.
Yeah.
On the relay.
Yep.
Jason Adam just did not have a good day. And when
He's been
Jason
struggling.
Adam doesn't have a good day, it all kind of falls apart around you because he's such a key guy. But even though he didn't have a good day, Sheets' homer put him in the lead.
Mm-hmm.
He was that close to being 6-0. He's your go-to guy when you want to get lucky and win a game at the end. But it didn't work today because he continued to struggle the next inning. And my thing wasn't bringing Wandy in for Jason Adam. My thing was once the bases were loaded and Wandy had faced 3 hitters and there were 2 outs and you're still up by 1 and their best hitter today, Ramirez, who had 4 hits, their best hitter today was Ramirez. I think Suarez should have come in right there and got the final out of the 8th inning. I just do. I don't trust Wandy. You don't trust Wandy. You don't trust Wandy.
He's pointing to the camera.
Right. And Wandy, lefty on righty, with the game basically up for grabs, top of the 8th, a base hit, they take the lead. An out, you win the game. I get Suarez there. You were going to pitch him in the 9th. You don't want to go the extra out, but today I would have. That's my, it's a second guess, right? It didn't work. But
He's done it before this year.
I think Suarez gets that last out. Maybe he doesn't, but should be called upon to get it.
I think there's too much. I got to look into the stats on Wandy Peralta, but I think there's too much trust being given right now in spots where he shouldn't be trusted.
I don't disagree right now.
His ground ball rate is great, but he hasn't been throwing ground balls.
Here's my final thing of the day, and I got another minute.
Yes.
What time's the break? 55?
Yes.
I got to take a second on this one, but I want you to think about it during the break. He's Manny Machado.
Yes.
But I don't like when even Manny Machado does a poor decision baseball intelligence-wise, because I think he's one of the smartest players I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But I think when you're up with 2 outs in the 9th, trailing by 2 runs, and the count is 2-0, you got to take a pitch. And you got to try to get a walk. You got to try to get on. Because you need 2 runs to tie the game. You got Merrill next. Manny flails at a 2-0 pitch, pops up, game over. That's, to me, not the smartest. Now, 99% I want Manny swinging 2-0 because he's going to – not there.
You missed all the conversation yesterday about is Manny clutch, and today he was not clutch.
I just think that was a bad move. All right, we got a bonus hour. More Gwynn and Chris on its way. Stick around. And a little bonus hour of Gwynn and Chris for this Wednesday afternoon. Welcome back to it. Chrisello, Matt Skraby tonight, Tony Gwynn Jr. Called the game today along with Bob Scanlon. There wasn't a whole lot of good news. Final score, the Miami Marlins 10 and the San Diego Padres 8. After the Padres led 6-1.
Which is so weird because they were down 6-0 and after the top of the first last night.
Right.
They climbed their way all the way back into it.
Yeah.
They allowed the Marlins to do the same thing that they did last night.
Well, that's why I said, strangely, if you want to try to feel it at all better, you just chalk it up as last night you won one you should have lost. Today, the baseball gods returned the favor. You lost one you should have won.
Yeah.
Pirates are coming in for the weekend. Fireworks after the game.
I love
Friday
the
night.
fireworks show.
I know you love the fireworks show, but no Paul Skeens again. Paul Skeens dodges the Padres. It just must have had to work out. I really don't follow their rotation closely enough.
Oh, I was following.
No, I know, but I mean, did he didn't move up a day, he didn't move back a day.
No. It was all on time.
Right, it just happened. And he dominated the Diamondbacks today in Arizona. It's 10 Ks or something in 6 innings. And
there's a part of me that is okay that they're missing him.
Never faced this guy. It's so weird.
Yeah, I want to see the guy pitch. I want to see him pitch against the Padres, but there's part of me that says he's way too good right now. I'd rather not see him at the moment.
I want to see him, and we're not going to see him. So Padres will go to work. They got 31 wins in the first 1/3 of the season. It's a 93-win pace, which, as Skraby correctly said, we would have signed up for at the beginning of the season, but it feels like a bit of a disappointment now because they've gone 4-8 in the last 12 games. They've gone 17-20 in the last 37 games. That's a large sample size.
It is.
But they also don't have 2 of their starting pitchers now, one of whom, Michael King, probably would have pitched today and probably would have held a 6-1 lead. They've been without Merrill for a month. They've been without Jake. They've been without Arise.
For a week, yeah.
They survived basically 7 weeks of Manny not hitting home runs. Now, all of a sudden, he hit a couple. By the way, you said you had a discussion on whether Manny's clutch. Didn't he win the game the other day in Atlanta when they were down 6 straight losses in the 9th inning, tied up, and he homers to end the losing streak? That's not clutch. Does that not count to people? I guess it doesn't.
No. It counts.
Doesn't?
It counts until the next day.
Yeah. I mean, people want you to come through every game. I mean, come on. That was the biggest swing of the year to this point.
Yeah, I know.
Make no mistake about it.
It was.
That losing streak could still be going if it wasn't for him hitting that home run.
Here's how I described being clutch. Because I think people think of clutch as when you need something to happen, you are going to make it happen.
When you're the fan and you want this worse than ever,
that's a clutch moment.
Is this guy going to come through? Yeah.
But it's a weird
But
stat.
so when it was 1-1 and you lost 6 in a row, his home run in the 9th didn't resonate with anybody out there. The only thing that resonated was the 3-error game. He kicked one today.
He's overpaid.
Yeah.
I can't
go there.
I would like to separate it, though. I would like to separate because I do know a lot of the fans that listen are not in that camp. They are. Manny is a good player. Manny, I love Manny on our team camp, but the ones that don't like Manny are very loud.
Yeah,
we
can't
give
why. Yeah, well, the ones that don't like Manny, you want Ryan McMahon? What do you want? Who do you want? Who's better?
I already
Max
said.
Muncy's hitting 212. Who do you want? Nolan Arenado's having a rebirth this year, and he's still hitting 240. Who do you want? Who's better?
Manny Machado. As of yesterday, he was leading third
Mike
baseman
Schmidt
in average.
retired in, 1994. Who do you want? George Brett. Who do you want?
Manny Machado.
I don't know who you want if you don't like the guy.
Manny Machado.
I know what you want. You want 40, 50 home runs, and even then he would Even Aaron Judge goes 0 for 4 and Ks 3 times. It did happen in the Padres series. He had 1 hit the whole series.
Oh, you're right.
Right?
Charles says on the chat about Tatis.
Okay.
Tatis is largely at fault here because he listens to the third base coach. We keep that inning going against that starter. We likely score 7 or 8 in that inning. The moment Tatis didn't listen to his coach is the moment the game's momentum shifted. Can't say the momentum shifted because they were still up 6-1, but I do think it was a big deal.
We brought it up.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time on it, Charles. And I've not been enamored always with Fernando's daring do's on the bases.
Daring do's.
But when he scores from second from third on a pop-up to the second baseman, man, he's the greatest guy in the history.
Yeah, or he steals home and the ball's in the other box.
He scored a winning run this year when the ball bounced 1 foot away.
Exactly.
In Pittsburgh.
Exactly.
So we got to have both of those, unfortunately. This hour, 97.3 The Fan, brought to you by Frozen Ropes, San Diego. Hey, parents, here's a message from Coach Kurt. He's with Frozen Ropes, and he asks you, is your child 6 to 12 years old? Because if they are, the Baseball Summer League is a perfect fit for your player. Starts June 16th through August 17th. Summer League includes 8 practices and 8 games. Go to SanDiegoFrozenRopes.com. That's SanDiegoFrozenRopes.com. All right. Dodgers lost today. Giants lost today. Diamondbacks, not as important, but they lost today. That's why, I think today's loss is extra frustrating, but along with blowing a 6-1 lead. Could have picked up ground on everybody, but it didn't happen. So you're now, the one thing that we've been able to hang on to is the fact that we're going to crush National League teams. Especially at home. They were 13-1 against the
You love this stat, and I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Matters.
It's not that it's a bad stat because it's a stat, and right. it's telling a story.
It exists.
But they don't – it doesn't matter what they do against the AL until the playoffs.
Well, it matters. Each game matters. They all matter. And the playoffs, you're not going to get to the AL unless you make the World Series. The fact is they played 27 games against the American League. They've won 10. They played 27 games against the National League. They've won 21. I'd say that's a big difference.
Well, I think it's good that they're going to stop playing American League teams here.
I couldn't agree more. And after this, I don't want to put any extra pressure on the Pirates series because that's silly to do. And I don't think the Padres are going to be thinking about that the way we are.
I know where you're going.
But after the Pirates series, where you're supposed to win all 3 again.
Yeah.
You swept them earlier. They're not good. You can sweep them again. Yada, yada, yada.
Last time the Padres played the Pirates, they got their coach fired. The Pirates.
Yeah. But after the Pirates, then, thankfully, 17 of the next 20 games.
Gauntlet.
It's not a gauntlet. They're good teams, but 17 of the next 20 are finally against the Giants, the Dodgers, or the D-backs.
Yep.
7 of those are the Dodgers. 4 of those are the Giants. And 3 of those are the D-backs. So that add up? 14 out of 17 is what I meant to say.
Then, yeah.
7, 10. Yes. 14 out of 17 is what I meant. I'm ripping you for your math, but my math was wrong.
I'm going to take the high road, and I'm just going to say
let it go.
There could be a big momentum swing in the season in this next 17 games.
Here's where, and we've talked about this, Major League Baseball has screwed up badly. They think that they're giving us what we want by making it to where we get to play every team in baseball every year. But there is no way any of us truly would rather see the Royals, the Twins, the Guards, the Red Sox, the Orioles, the Athletics, every American League team as a replacement for seeing more games against the Dodgers and more games against the Giants and more games against Arizona. They've taken away our division rivalries, which are the games we love, we live for. The Dodgers are coming June 9th. That's still, 12 days away, but we're counting the days. Nobody's counting the days till the Royals get here on June 20th.
I mean, I want to see the Royals.
Yeah, I know. Well,
Bobby Witt Jr.
You have a good time. You have a good time.
But I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? This is terrible. We're in June this weekend. The Padres have played 2 against the Giants, 0 against the Dodgers, and 0 against Arizona.
And 6 against the Rockies.
But this isn't how baseball should be. You should play the teams you compete against. It's baseball. Listen, we can't be the only ones saying this. They got to be saying it in New York.
No, they're saying it everywhere.
As far as we're not getting to play the Red Sox or the Blue Jays or the Rays, we're playing the Pirates and the Marlins and the Nationals.
Ron Darling said that on his I was watching a broadcast. He said that same thing. But here's my idea. You take 6 of those games against these teams that you never see, and you give it back to division games. And that's an extra 6 division games that it'll get you teams around the country. You'll be able to see teams.
Yes, we want to see the Yankees every few years. We don't need to see them every year. But and the funny thing is the deal we've made, or baseball has made for us, is that we're going to let you see the Yankees every year. That's the sales point.
Yeah.
But they don't tell us that also includes the White Sox and the A's and the Angel and all these crappy teams.
I get it.
It's annoying, but the Pirate series is big because after that, 14 of 17 are against, the teams you got to compete against. All right, NBA update on the playoffs. OKC trying to book its trip to the finals tonight. Knicks are in trouble. I got the NBA champ for you. I'll tell you who it is when we come back on Gwynn and Chris.
Chris, hello. Yeah, we're here in Cooperstown for 97.3 The Fan. So excited, the induction weekend for the great Trevor Hoffman. What a class he's going in with, too. Let's take a look. Of course, Alan Trammell from Kearney High School in San Diego. And then, of course, the Detroit Tigers, great shortstop. Jack Morris in a Tiger uniform there, but I always remember him pitching that 1-0 shutout in Game 7 of the 1991 World Series for the Minnesota Twins. Maybe the greatest postseason pitching performance of all time. Chipper Jones, Padre fans remember him. Every fan of a National League team remembers him because he would come in and do damage to that team. Only the second #1 overall pick in the Major League Draft, Chipper Jones, to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. The other is Ken Griffey Jr. Vladimir Guerrero. Never met a pitch he couldn't swing at. And powerhouse hitter for the Expos and then, of course, the Angels at the end of his career. Jim Thome, over 600 home runs, mostly with the Cleveland Indians. And then, the guy down here on the end who used to get all these guys out all the time, Trevor Hoffman, the greatest Padre reliever of them all. Two of the greatest outfielders in the history of baseball. Of course, you've got Babe Ruth right here. Ted Williams right over there. I was wondering who the third outfielder would be. And then, of course, it hit me. Tony would be upset if I didn't say that the third outfielder, who will someday probably be displayed right here between these two guys, is obviously Mike Trout. and this is the San Diego Padres locker room here in Cooperstown. Obviously, a couple of jerseys there and hats, gloves, all-star stuff. I think the most interesting thing in this entire display, though, especially this weekend, is a picture in the top corner of Angus Young. He's the guitarist for AC/DC, wearing a Trevor Hoffman uniform, obviously playing Hell's Bells. I know that Trevor went to many AC/DC concerts and was honored by sitting in the front row to watch AC/DC play Hell's Bells in his honor. But there's a picture of Angus Young playing Hell's Bells for Trevor Hoffman, wearing the 51 jersey right there.
Tony likes the Lakers.
Wait. What?
No, I was going to say Tony likes the Laker games. I keep an eye on the Bulls. But if during the season, the NBA doesn't do much.
Oh, the regular
right?
season, nothing.
No, playoffs, we like it. I like it, and I watch a lot of it. When you come down to the end of the Western Conference Finals, and one team can win it, and the other team's just trying to stay alive. It's great when the team trying to stay alive makes a game of it.
Shows up.
Yeah. And that's not happening tonight. Minnesota scored 9 points in the first quarter. And the T-Wolves, trying to stay alive, are getting destroyed in Oklahoma City. Second quarter, 32-14. OKC. My favorite player on OKC by a mile is Alex Caruso.
Oh, I thought you were going to say SGA.
I love Caruso. He guards. In Game 7 against Denver in the last series, they put him on Jokic in the second half.
Wow.
Caruso's a guard.
I was going to say.
He makes plays that win you games. He's the kind of player that I would love to have on my squad.
He's only 6'4", and he's guarded
Jokic. Obviously had help, but he was on Jokic. In this series, he's taking Edwards out of it tonight. Anyway, Caruso to me is the glue for that team. The guy that's overrated is SGA. And I know he won the MVP. And I know that he's got already 12 points tonight in 12 minutes, and he's about to carry his team into the finals. And he scored 40 in the last game. For some reason, he doesn't do it for me. The one thing that he does do is get fouled. And it kind of gets annoying after a while. Like every time he goes up for a shot, they put him on the line. He shot 14 free throws last game. He shot 15 the game before that and 14 the game before that.
Does he deserve to go to the line?
He initiates a lot of contact, and I think the NBA needs to do he gets fouled. He initiates a lot of it, though. And I think the NBA in general rewards guys that initiate contact because they don't want to take away scoring.
So when you're saying he initiates contact, he's not. It's not like a jump shot and he jumps into someone or he tries to get someone off their feet and jumps into it.
He gets a little elbow in and gets a little room. He initiates the contact most times, and I don't think he should be rewarded for it as often as he is. He's a mediocre 3-point shooter. He's automatic from 15 feet. I'll give him that. So's DeRozan, though. But SGA got an MVP. I haven't been as enamored with him as I thought I would be. And I think a lot of it is to the free throw line with him.
To the free throw line with him. Dude,
the game, look, Oklahoma City lost by 42 points in the game that they lost. No team has ever won the NBA title losing a game by 40 points in that year's playoff.
Well, there's always the first.
And there's always a first. But Oklahoma City, I'm just not enamored with them. I like Jalen Williams, the sidekick to SGA, better than SGA.
Robin in Batman and Robin. What's the guy's name? Jason, your
Jalen Williams.
Jalen Williams. He's Robin to SGA's Batman.
I thought he made all the big shots in Game 4 that helped them win. The really pivotal game was Game 4 for OKC to go up 3-1.
But that's not SGA's fault.
No, I'm just saying Williams made all the shots. SGA consistently did his thing. He shot 13 for 30. He should score 40 points with 30 shots and 14 free throws.
All right.
I'm not an SGA fan. I'm just saying I know people love him. He won the MVP. I'm not as big a fan as I thought I'd be.
You would be such a fan if he was a Bull.
Probably. Caruso was a Bull. Maybe you can say that's why I like him.
That could be.
But it's not true.
Okay.
I'm not there's a lot of Bulls I'm not fans of.
Like,
I mean, they don't win too often. So there's a lot of guys they have that I'm not big fans of.
Were you a fan of Ben Gordon?
Yeah. I like Ben Gordon.
Okay.
I don't know that SGA belongs in the same breath. I'm just looking at all these guys that won NBA MVPs. I don't put him there in that category. Should I say that he's the worst player ever to win MVP?
That would be crazy.
All
you
right,
don't
well,
win
you
MVP unless you're a good player.
I said the worst to win MVP.
I know.
Now you go look through the list, man. I can go about 30 years and all I can give you is Hall of Famers. I don't think SGA is a Hall of Famer.
Well, yeah, he's not a Hall of Famer right now.
I got a crazy stat for you. It's now 36-14, by the way. It's getting worse for Minnesota.
You think Joel Embiid deserved it? He's a Hall of Famer?
I think Embiid's better than
that
SGA.
year. He was very good.
All right, anyway, let's move off that because I'm not going to win a lot of support. I know SGA is the reigning MVP, and he's about to take his team to the finals, so I should let him have his moment in the sun.
Thank you.
But I think he's going to get exposed in the finals.
You said you're going to have his moment in the sun, and then you crush him again.
Yeah, I'm going to take Indiana to beat them in the finals.
I hope Indiana loses because of their stupid logo that I hate looking at.
Their logo.
I hate the Pacers logo.
Interesting.
Hate it so much. Did you see that the Pacers, I brought this up with Tony yesterday, the Pacers on Sunday, one of the parking lots had $20 parking for Pacers fans and $100 parking for Knicks fans.
And how did you
it was on social media
that when you got there? If you were wearing a Knicks jersey, that's
what Tony and I were talking about. I'm like, if you're driving to the game and you don't have parking, you're likely wearing gear to your team.
Yeah.
So you can't get out of that. And some guy was so mad. He was like, this is discrimination.
Right.
Like, calm down, people.
All right, I got something for you. Here's the strangest stat of the day in the NBA.
Should I be doing that?
Starting with Kevin Durant in 2014. And through Steph Curry, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Giannis, Jokic, Embiid, Jokic, and now SGA. That is 12 years worth of NBA MVPs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Steph won 2, Giannis 2, Jokic 3. So there's 9 different guys, but 12 awards. Or, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Do you know what all of them have in common? This is crazy. in this day and age of basketball.
What they all have in common?
Yes, LeBron James is the MVP. Before that, he breaks the trend. So only guys after LeBron share this thing in common.
Ooh, let me think. Wow.
This is weird. I don't think you're going to think about it because I don't think many people would go here.
Wait.
I
think I know.
You're going to be surprised.
I think I know.
What is it?
They're not American.
No, not true. No, well, Harden is, so that ends that.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, there's a lot of non-Americans. I'm going to give people through the break. I'll tell you when we come back. I'm going to let everybody think about it out there.
Too early.
I know. I'm not going to tell you now. I'm going to give you another few minutes. What do Kevin Durant, Curry, Westbrook, Harden, Giannis, Jokic, Embiid, SGA? They have one really kind of crazy thing in common that LBJ before them, Derrick Rose before that, wouldn't share. In this day and age, it's quite surprising, I think.
I got nothing.
I know. It's a weird one.
I'm trying to think of geographical location. I'm trying to think of
I don't think your mind's going to go there. But when I tell you, you're going to go, whoa, that's kind of weird.
Rod says they play basketball.
Yeah, good try, Rod. Very good. All right, I'll tell everybody in just a little bit. I want people to take a couple of minutes when you're driving around and you cycle through that a little in your head. See if you're thinking along the same strange avenue.
They're all balding
as I'm thinking. NHL, Carolina 2, Florida 0. Florida leads the series 3-1. Carolina's trying to stay alive. Does somebody have a guess?
A guess, yes. No tattoos.
Ding, 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 ding.
Wow, you got it, Weston.
He might have seen it online where I saw it.
No, I don't care.
No, I know. Good job.
I'd never even thought about that.
None of the last 12 NBA MVPs have a single visible tattoo.
That is crazy. Well, because Kevin Durant has a massive tattoo on his back.
All right, then maybe I shouldn't have included him because he was the first on the list.
But visible, that is kind of crazy.
But starting with Curry for sure. Curry, Westbrook, Harden, Giannis, Jokic. Anyway.
Wow.
I saw that online somewhere today, and I thought that's kind of weird.
That is super strange.
It's a little strange.
In a day and age when everybody's
got 20 tattoos, right?
I got 3, and I don't even want them.
And you don't even play in the NBA. Yeah. All right, that's the answer.
Nice job.
So everybody's got it.
Nice job.
All right. We move along. And we're gonna have some fun in the next segment because Skraby's been saving up some good potpourri.
I have.
Which means the show could get a little outlandish.
It will.
Between now and 7:00. Padres outlandish loss today. Led 6-1, lost 10-8. More Gwynn and Chris ahead.
Ben and Wood.
And now, the challenger, representing the San Diego Padres, number 20, Kyle Higashioka. Just 1 minute remaining. 4 in a row now. It's out of here. That one up into the monster seat. Another home run. And that ends the round. He ends the round with 7 home runs. And he has earned a trip to the semifinal matchup. Now, the challenger is a semifinal matchup. Number 20, Kyle Higashioka. No doubt about that one. That one carried on Joe Lansdowne. That one Just 1 minute remaining. No question about that one. And tapped it up to put up in the championship matchup. And that ends the round. Finishes. Let's see what he can do. And now, the challenger in this championship round, Kyle Higashioka. That one carried out to Lansdowne. That one is gone. And he's earned 30 seconds of bonus time. Just 1 minute remaining. That draw off the right pole. There's a home run. Seconds left. Another home run. Into the scoreboard. Oh, that's a monster home run. Make it 9 home runs. And now, the challenger, representing the San Diego Padres, number 20, Kyle Higashioka. Oh, that's a monster home run. That's a home run. He's earned 30 seconds of bonus time. That one carried on to Lansdowne. Just 1 minute remaining. 4-0 now. In out of here. That one up into the monster seat. Another home run. And that ends the round. He ends the round with 7 home runs. And he has earned a trip to the semifinal matchup. Now the challenger in this semifinal matchup, number 20, Kyle Higashioka. No doubt about that one. And it's drawn. That one carried on to Lansdowne.
Smallest tattoo, like on the inside of his arm, and
How
people
could
are
you?
Like, oh, I know, I'm an idiot.
How could you?
First of all, I didn't come up with the stat. I didn't look at everybody's body before I gave you that. I read it somewhere.
You
and I was
didn't?
passing it along to everyone.
You didn't study their bodies?
But it is pretty funny that people get so irate about it out there.
I don't think they were irate, but I think people like to prove us wrong.
Oh, whatever.
I
If
always
you look
read
at
it like
Steph
this.
Curry, you don't go, he's a tattoo guy.
You know, after I read it,
to
I was
some
like,
of these other guys.
yeah. After I
So.
read that he had one, I thought about it being on his
Whatever.
bicep, but
All right, whatever.
but we're idiots over here.
Yes, we are. All right. Well, maybe that says something about those who are listening then.
They're very smart.
No, that you're listening to idiots
No,
willfully.
they're like, what are these idiots going to do
Right.
next?
You're willfully listening to idiots. So think that through
Oh,
before
man.
the next time you correct us on something.
Yes.
All right. What do you 2-2, by the way, while we're in that break, Florida tied it up against Carolina, looking very much like a defending Stanley Cup champ. They've evened up that game.
Well, I just found out something from the chat that I think is quite amazing.
Well, let's
and
make sure it's accurate before we.
I did. I
you know.
just looked it up, actually.
All right.
Today is not only my mom's birthday, it's International Burger Day. Did you know that, Chris?
International Burger.
Yes, International.
Is that opposed to National Burger Day?
Let me see.
Is there such
National Hamburger Day.
a thing?
And
should
you can get some free stuff out there, I guess.
Oh, that I did not. That's worthy news.
Now let's go through this real quick. Where are you at with Burger King, Chris?
Where am I at?
Yeah.
I can handle Burger King.
You like Burger King?
Like I said, none of those fast food burgers are my go-to. I don't get them very often, but I have had a Burger King, and I, think it's pretty good.
Okay. All right.
Carl's Jr. I think is pretty good. McDonald's, not great. And as I've said in the past, sorry, I know they're local. They're never gonna be sponsored on this show. Jack in the Box, not my favorite at all.
I love Jack in the Box.
Yeah, I know you do.
Well, today you can get a free hamburger with a purchase of $1 more at Burger King. Wendy's has a 1-cent junior bacon cheeseburger deal from May 28th through June 1st.
The word junior worries me there.
Well, yeah, because it's
Junior
smaller,
bacon cheeseburger means it might be the size of a nickel.
which is fine with
That's
me.
junior.
That's portion control. That's portion
true,
control.
But if I'm going to have a burger, I don't want to take one bite and then, be into it and then, it's over.
Grubhub's getting in on this. If you order
Yeah.
from Arby's, 20% off orders of $25 or more. Stuff like that.
I like that.
I do love I do love hamburgers. I've been eating a little bit too many hamburgers as of late.
All right.
All right. So
What do you have for the potpourri world? Do you have what do you have?
Yes.
Was that, I guess that would qualify right there, what you just talked about.
yes, but here's another potpourri. It's actually sports potpourri. Have you seen the video of Stephon Diggs on a boat with a bunch of women, Chris?
I saw a
Enough
picture
of
or
it.
two.
Okay. So
And what happened?
so the
Mike
video-
Vrabel's not thrilled with this.
well, the reason he's not thrilled with this is that in the video you can clearly see Stephon Diggs handing out baggies of powder. And
Wow.
it does not, I mean, there's only, as a recovering alcoholic, I've seen these baggies
Don't even
before.
think you need
There's
to be
only
recovering
one
alcoholic.
reason those baggies exist.
I've never been handed a bag of flour or even salt or sugar. A baggie. Has anyone?
Handed a baggie of salt and sugar?
No, baking soda. I mean, you're right. What you're saying is right. There's only one thing this could be.
Yeah. But so he's so Stephon Diggs was on this boat, and the media actually talked to Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel said this. I'm going to have her question in it because she does fill us in pretty well on the situation.
Stephon Diggs has gotten a lot of traction in the last 24 hours or so. He's on a boat having a good time, but the question comes in as to a certain substance that people are guessing what is and isn't. Is this something that the team has to look into?
Well, it's something that we're aware of, and obviously we want to make great decisions on and off the field. And we're hoping that with our time here on the field today, and that when we don't have a script and we're on the call-up periods, that we're making great decisions. And so the message will be the same for all our players, that we're trying to make great decisions, and any conversations that I've had with Stephon will remain between him and I and the club.
Have you talked to him since the video?
I talk to our players every single day, the ones that are here and the ones that aren't.
Are you expecting him to practice today, Mike?
Not if he's not here.
So he's not here.
You guys will find out in a minute.
I actually never went and found out if he was at
He wasn't.
practice. He was not at practice.
No, he hasn't been.
Okay.
I think what team's he coaching for now? The Patriots.
Yes, the Patriots.
Yeah, I think they've got themselves a problem here.
I think so
at this
too.
point.
You can't
Stephon-
be on video handing out packies of powder.
Well, yeah, I don't know, man. You can't hand out packets of powder anymore because you're going to be on video,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Someone's going to video it.
He's not even hiding it either.
Yeah, I don't have a problem. Well, I do. I mean, drug use of that nature, I still believe is illegal. I could be old school. I do believe there's still some illegality attached to that kind of substance.
Of course. Well, they don't know what it is, and so they would have to figure it out.
Yes, I know. But the point is, Stephon Diggs seems like his mind has been elsewhere for a couple of years now. And the Patriots may have gotten themselves some baggage they don't necessarily need.
I'm rewatching the video.
Look, Mike Vrabel doesn't want this, or I don't think he went out and got Stephon Diggs. I think somebody said you got him.
Yeah,
and Mike Vrabel's like,
great.
I'm gonna get to deal with this.
He's been waiting for this to happen.
Yeah, right.
No, but I'm rewatching the video, and it's not good. It's not a good look at all for Stephon Diggs. We'll see what happens with that. Remember when we talked about Caleb Williams, Chris, the Bears quarterback, in the book that was coming out where his dad said that he did not want to play for the Bears and he was trying to get out of playing for the Bears and all that stuff? Well, Caleb Williams came out today to the media and he said that he wanted to be there. He loves being there. And he said he wanted a challenge of turning the Bears around and becoming the team's quarterback. He said he did have a good visit with the Vikings and Kevin O'Connell, but things changed after he met the Bears.
I think Caleb Williams needs, in general, to just work harder and stop being so full of himself.
Okay, wait.
That's my opinion from back here.
This is his.
I'm not in the complex. I don't know him personally. I think he's been told how great he is and how much of a can't miss player he is. I'm telling you that to be a star quarterback in the NFL, you have to go beyond where most human beings are willing to go to dedicate yourself to it. And I don't think, from what I see, Caleb Williams is not that.
Here's where I disagree with you, because this book, all these quotes come from his dad. These quotes are not from Caleb Williams himself. I think that Caleb Williams probably finds this extremely distracting that his dad did this. And I don't know about him saying, I always wanted to be here, but he did step up to the podium and start with this. He wasn't even asked about it because he knew someone was going to ask about it. I think that's taking responsibility for a big news story that is going to be asked about at your press conference.
Good. Now go work your butt off beyond belief. There's no way you can be a great quarterback in the NFL if you're not just like addicted to it. Yeah. I'm not saying you can't go out and have an acai bowl, but you better take that acai bowl and go back and sit down and look at film.
Joe Burrow goes to bed at 9 p.m. because he knows it's best for his play.
These guys are they're at such a top level. I don't think everyone gets it until they get to the NFL, and then they went, whoa, man, this is not what I thought. And look, I will give Caleb Williams one benefit of the doubt. Having to haul around the, Hunchback of Notre Dame size baggage of Matt Eberflus did not help him.
It did not help him at all. It did not.
So maybe go. But be sure of this, right, Skraby? If he doesn't do it under Ben Johnson, like within a year or two,
there's going to be some talk.
Yeah.
There's going to be some talk.
Ben Johnson's a wonder boy. So
he's the quarterback whisperer.
He's the wonder boy, so Caleb Williams better be good now.
Padres diehard said on the chat, Halliburton's dad and Caleb's dad need to start a podcast. That would be pretty funny, actually. All right, so there was a play that happened last Friday in the game between the Mets and the Dodgers, and this was on Apple TV. Here is the play itself.
Runners. And Betts lifts one to right center field. It's hit pretty well. Soto's over, so is Taylor. And a collision, but Taylor made a juggling catch. Not sure if the runners realized the ball was caught. They say Ohtani is safe at second base, but did Conforto tag up? Misses the initial catch. And then...
All right, so
tell us what happened there, because I don't think people can really grasp it.
Yes, so the fly ball went to right field. the center fielder and Juan Soto collided. It went off of, I believe, Juan Soto's glove. He did not catch it, but then the center fielder caught the ball off of the deflection.
Okay.
And so that was where the out was. Now, what the big controversy was, and I did not know this until this happened, everybody, including the announcers, including some of the Mets players, thought you have to catch the ball before you tag up and leave a base.
Right.
But the rule is not that. The rule is they have to touch the ball, and then you could go home and tag up and go home.
Mm-hmm.
So Conforto did the exact right thing by going as soon as the ball was contacted by the player, and Shohei went and got into second. And so everybody, including the announcers, were confused as to why that happened.
Well, not
But
everybody. Conforto wasn't confused, and neither was Shohei
Shohei,
Ohtani.
I guess you're right. But I had no idea this was a thing. I thought you had to secure the out before you end up leaving the base.
You don't want to reward the defense for missing the ball. And if the rule wasn't this, you could bobble a ball, and the guy tagging up from third wouldn't know when to start running.
So like a sacrifice fly.
Yeah.
The guy drops the ball.
Yeah, you can
go.
leave the second it touches his glove, and you don't have to wait to see that he caught it.
So what's the scoring then? An error maybe because he
you
dropped
would get
the
a
ball?
sacrifice fly to the batter and an RBI.
But
And
you
then
didn't
would get an
you didn't
error
sacrifice. Okay.
You would get an error to the right fielder for allowing the batter to reach first base.
Okay, there we go.
But you don't lose your sacrifice fly if you would have had a sacrifice fly.
Yes, okay. I get it now. But I had no idea. And I find this pretty fun when
Baseball
you
has a
learn
lot
something.
of rules. That one makes perfect sense, though. You
It
should
does,
not
once
be
you
rewarded
explained
for
it.
screwing it up and bobbling the ball.
Yes. Yeah, you shouldn't. Yeah, because then the offensive
You could
team is
deceive
penalized.
the runner.
Yes.
You could intentionally bobble a ball
Correct.
and then get them for leaving too early.
Yes.
That's not fair.
That is not fair. You're right. But now I will never forget.
Baseball is fair about most stuff. Not everything. But
Not everything.
No.
There was one other thing that I wanted to get to. Oh, yeah. Chris, did you I talked about this briefly yesterday, but did you hear what happened to Red Sox top prospect in San Diego's own Marcelo Meyer?
Marcello Meyer. I didn't. What happened?
So he got called up, and they did the whole video thing, and I love watching those videos when they call the guys into the office and then they tell them they're going to the big leagues.
Right.
But he couldn't find his car keys to leave. So he has all these people sitting outside the locker room ready to congratulate him that he's been called to the show, but he could not find his car keys. And apparently he hadn't been able to find his car keys for quite some time. He made it to wherever he needed to go, but he lost his car keys so early on in the season, the minor league season, that he could not find them, and he was looking forever, and that's why people were waiting for him. So my question to Tony was, what's the most annoying thing that you lose on a regular basis?
You asked Tony this?
I did, yes.
Tony probably took about a half an hour because he loses everything on a regular basis. Sorry if you're out there, Tony.
No,
but
he had multiple ones, yes.
Yeah, he's got multiple.
He said his
problems there.
wallet is a big one and his water bottle, but his wallet is a big one.
I don't have a wallet, as you know.
You don't?
No.
What do
I
you
keep
have?
everything in just a little packet.
What kind of packet? Like a Stephon Diggs packet?
No, it's no packet. Yeah, right. Show everybody. I just keep it all like that. There's no wrap on it. There's no rubber band.
That is so Chris
It's just
LO.
all there.
That is so Chris LO.
So easy to access.
That is very Chris.
And that's my wallet. So I don't
Okay.
lose it because I don't have one.
All right.
I lose the phone, fairly regularly.
Is it on purpose though? Because
No.
I know I lose the phone on purpose.
No,
sometimes.
I just can't, I put it down somewhere in the house and then, there's no, the phones don't have a sounder thing, do they? That you can, unless you don't, see, I leave my phone the ringer off, right, when I'm at home. And so if I call my phone to find it, I can't hear it anyway.
At least on my phone, I know
can't
that
use my wife's phone to call to find my phone.
But if you find your iPhone, it probably overrides the silent and then does like a ring or something like that. Because that's how I find my watch. I lose my watch all the time at home.
As people can see, another item I don't possess.
A watch.
And by the way, why does anyone need a watch?
I've told you this a million times.
It's on your phone.
I told you this a million times. It's for my heart rate so that I don't have to take it twice a day.
It's on your phone.
I can send it to the doctor. No, because it's taking my vitals right now. Like my heart
not
rate
on
right
your
now.
phone?
It is, but it takes the vitals from the watch because it's reading my vitals right now.
Speaking of watches, dumbest item worn by any athlete in any sport are tennis players, most of whom wear watches out there during the match.
And it's probably because they're
Don't get that.
sponsored to do that.
Don't get that.
Here's another thing that happened today. A Detroit.
Wait a second.
What?
Good point.
What?
If the watch company pays you to wear it,
You have to wear it.
why not wear it?
You know what
Okay,
happens when
fair enough. I'll give you that one.
Golfers.
I'm going to give you that one.
Golfers, after they win, watch them. They're good. No pun intended. They're going to go into their bag and they're going to get their sponsored stuff. They're going to put their watch on. They're going to get their whatever it is that they need to put on, and they're going to make sure that they're in compliance.
Savvy golfers will do that.
Well, the ones
that want to keep getting sponsorship money.
Yes.
Here,
I got one. I got
Okay.
one more. One more.
You do.
A Detroit Tigers grounds crew member is going to the IL, Chris, after suffering an injury in between innings, and he was very angry at the cameras for filming him.
Saw that.
So he was on the ground, and the people were checking him out. Apparently, I don't actually know exactly what happened, but I do know it was like an ankle injury, a lower leg injury. But the cameras are filming him, and he flips the bird right into the camera. And I guess he said, "I'm hurt over here," or something like that. But come on, bro. You know it's a baseball game. There are cameras everywhere. You can't be mad that someone's videoing you. Come on. Stupid. Anyway, there you go.
Got you to talk about him.
Yeah, because he flipped off the cameras.
How did he hurt himself?
They don't have video of that because it was in between innings. So I'm assuming
we don't know how he's probably not telling anybody.
Well, no, because he's so angry that people even know about this in the first place.
NFL FPI rankings. Do you know what this is?
Flag football?
No, they're NFL analytic rankings for how great teams are compared to, I guess, 0 is average. I mean, it's analytics. It's analytics. 0 is average.
Okay.
Eagles are the best team in the league, plus 5.5. And this doesn't tell me anything. Never mind.
I was going to say, why are you?
We already know the
hate
Eagles are
analytics.
good. Yeah. 49ers are 11th. I brought it up because the 49ers usually rank too high in this stuff.
Oh,
the Dolphins are 19th.
Don't get me started. TJ Houshmandzadeh is Brandon Ayuk's personal wide receiver coach. And TJ Houshmandzadeh said today that Brock Purdy better make sure that he does everything to make it worth it that they paid him so much. And you know what I want to say, Chris? Brandon Ayuk's contract doesn't look pretty good. It doesn't look that good either. TJ Houshmandzadeh. Stop throwing stones in the glass house.
Are we talking about the 49ers already? Took an hour and 53 minutes.
I haven't talked about them in a couple days.
That's normal.
Ooh, this is sad. Jim Irsay passed away. We never talked about that. The former Colts owner. Chris, I have the origin story of why I am a 49er fan.
You do?
Jim Irsay's dad, Robert Irsay, right?
Yeah, I know who that is.
So my grandpa was best friends with this guy who used to play in a poker game with Robert Irsay. And then my grandpa said, "I'm moving out to San Francisco. Any way you could hook me up with some tickets out there?"
Okay.
Robert Irsay says, "I have owner's tickets that I could give to people." So he gives my grandpa these owner's tickets. My grandpa holds these tickets for over 25 years. Robert Irsay is the reason I am a 49ers fan. That is incredible.
A moment of silence for his son, Jim,
Yeah.
who passed.
Yeah.
All right.
You happy to be back, Chris?
Robert Irsay used to own the Rams. Traded the Rams to Carroll Rosenblum to get the Colts. Owner swapped franchises back in the 60s.
A good old owner swap of franchises.
How about that one?
That's pretty good.
3-2 Florida over Carolina. OKC by 30 at halftime. See you tomorrow morning on the Padre Roundtable at 10. So long.